Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Premier Boys Soccer Podcast.
You know what's going on. We're playing FIFA while talking about soccer.
Hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Do it.
If you don't already, you're missing out.
Cheers.
Join us.
I thought you were
Cheers.
going to say something different, like do it or else. I was going to be like, damn, bro.
It literally costs
Not
Free.
$0.
free 99,
Goose
baby.
eggs. Just,
And you know what they say, the best things in life are free, boys. So subscribe, follow. It's literally free. It costs you absolutely nothing but some time, and even that you don't even have to give us if you don't feel like watching. But we do appreciate it. So, what are we talking about today, guys?
Dude, this shit just died, bro.
You hate to see it.
The World Cup controversies and scandals. If you don't know what we're talking about, it's been going on since like 2015, pretty much. It's just been escalating, and numbers have been getting worse.
Well, it's been since it got announced that Qatar was going to host the World Cup. But, so, we'll be doing that, and we got a little other side topics here, so make sure you stay tuned for the whole episode, because we got some interesting stuff. Jay, you want to hit us with the transition? Let's get into the gameplay, and let's kind of jump into this World Cup talk a little bit more. We watched a video just before we started the stream, the podcast, and, this is something we've known about. We've known, the little all the shadiness that's been going on with the World Cup in Qatar, including, obviously it's in the winter, right?
Fucks up my season.
So exactly, it bleeds into that Premier League season, and this is what everybody's main concern is, and I think it's a bit misconstrued that is the big problem that everybody has with it.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously nobody enjoys having their season interrupted, especially the Champions League. We all love our soccer. We all love domestic competition. We love domestic cup competitions. We love European cup competitions, whether it be Europa or Champions League or Conference League, forever. Who actually does watch that? But I mean, yeah, having that league broken up like that, we're gonna see a whole new element to this season that nobody wants to see. Nobody ever wanted to see. Like, It's not good for anybody other than the government of Qatar, which is the whole reason they even wanted this in the first place. It's not for a love of the game. It's nothing. It's strictly money, which I kind of feel like it's not going to make it that much money in the long run with how much they're spending on everything. I don't think they're going to be able to house people the way they need to house people. You're talking about a country smaller than the state of Connecticut that's also a fucking desert. That's very rich. Like, normal human beings can't go to this competition now and stay anywhere relatively. And obviously, any country that is hosting a World Cup is gonna jack their prices up. But this is already one of the most expensive places to go in the world, based off of just the individual's income per capita. Because per capita, they are one of, if not the richest in the world, country-wise. Obviously not the richest country because they're just too damn small. What a slide by Oshinin. But I mean that's literally just I mean, as Tyler said before the stream, tip of the iceberg, and in my opinion, the smallest part of this controversy. Outside of that, you got the fact that they put down like 20 billion, I think it was 20 billion. Was it billion? To bid in the World Cup?
Oh, to bid in?
Yeah, no.
Different story.
And I mean, your next closest ones were, I think, like 10 and 5. America being the $5 million one. Which, that seems pretty low for a World Cup in the first place. I don't think it should be done by a bid at all. I think it should be some kind of voting system amongst international players, international coaches.
Something. It should have some
money-based.
kind of vote. It shouldn't be whoever pays the most can handle it.
And
I know there are criteria, and somehow it's completely not mentioned at all by anybody. But somehow Qatar managed to pass all these criteria. Now
I don't see how.
Don't forget that this is around that time where this huge corruption scandal in FIFA arose. This is around that time where, all the higher ups in FIFA were getting accused of corruption. Different politicians, the higher ups in FIFA, all of these guys were getting busted for corruption.
Yeah.
Just before they finalized, or just after they finalized the whole Qatar thing.
Yo,
Oh,
I forgot.
wow,
They
you've gotten
don't have
so lucky.
Insigne anymore. I've totally forgot. About
There's another Italian player that went to.
Bernardeschi.
Bernardeschi. Yeah. But people seem to forget
Wow,
that,
what a
you know,
different team.
because the bid happens so far in advance of the World Cup.
I think it happened in 2015.
And you've seen how fast news kind of diverts. So you see, you know, the whole Black Lives Matter thing lasted maybe a month, and that was a long period of time in the eyes of the media. You have the Asian hate lasted maybe 2 weeks. You have all of these other movements that last brief periods of time, and then everybody just kind of forgets about it. So you can imagine how 4 years ago it was brought up. You know, people shed some concern on the ethics of it, but 4 years later, everybody completely forgets. They see all these beautiful stadiums. Oh, World Cup, hell yeah!
Honestly, most of the stadiums aren't even that impressive to me. Like, bro, with how rich that country is and how much they genuinely have the potential, I was expecting more. And I'm not saying they're bad stadiums. They're pretty nice stadiums. We watched a little concept, or I guess a video on just what they're actually going to look like. They're pretty cool fucking stadiums, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's not like every team in the Premier League or in the Italian League or the Spanish League or the Bundesliga have stadiums like this. There's not any stadiums like this in any of those countries.
But structurally, they look beautiful. I won't lie to you. Except for the one that kind of looks like a vagina.
That was a little weird, bro.
That was kind of off-putting.
They use like every other kind of example of what it looked like in the video too. They were like, and it looks like the bottom of a boat. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't, my
the
friend.
more and more you look at it,
like female reproductive system. That's what that looks like.
Yeah, you guys will see when the World Cup comes around. You guys will watch.
I think it's still kind of
It's
kind of a cool stadium still.
Yeah,
legit. A stadium that looks like a
We'll
vagina.
show you.
I'll pull it up real quick. I'll pull it up while we chat. So I'm gonna get into some of the heavier sides of this Qatar bullshit.
Yes, because like you said, there is too much emphasis put on what it affects the actual Premier League season, not enough on
sports world is focusing on sports. That's what's going on.
Exactly, yeah, and it's so easy to fall under that and completely be oblivious and completely just forget about everything that's happened behind the scenes. So,
but your boy's here for human rights. Somewhere around the range of, hang on, let me show David this vagina stadium.
That's
here, hold on.
Stupid lit. Oh my god, what a stadium.
Show it to the camera real quick. Hold on.
Here you go, Sam. Tell us
Literally,
we're wrong.
tell us that doesn't look like a vagina. Seriously.
Anyways. Somewhere around the number, and I've seen a bunch of different reports, but it seems like the sweet spot is somewhere around 55 to 6,500, and that's even if those are accurate. Honestly, I kind of feel like it could be higher just from some of the things I've read as well. Migrant worker deaths from a mixture of cardiac arrest, heat exhaustion, because you don't know, it's around 120 degrees Fahrenheit out there. As an individual who works outside daily and doing tree work, Monday through Friday, I feel like I'm going to die at 100 degrees some days with humidity. And I know that desert heat and humidity, they're different. That desert heat bakes you, bro. I can't imagine working in that shit. And they work longer ass hours than I do. They get paid next to nothing. Some of them literally don't get paid. There are actual reports of slave labor going on there. There's people that get... He got mad. There are reports of people who have showed up there as migrant workers, or I guess immigrant workers. They show up under the impression of one contract. When they get to the country, their passport is taken from them. Then they go sign a different contract that is then presented to them. You're looking at, I think it was like 1,100 rubles, which comes out to about $300 a month. A month is what their original contract was. That's what they went there in the hopes of. They were getting less or nothing.
And some context behind what you're saying, Jay. Basically, how it works is these very, very poor individuals migrate
I'm trying to remember what countries they typically come from. It's a bit all over the Middle East, basically, for a lack of better words.
A lot of Indians, a lot of Africans, and stuff like that. So what they do is they're very poor, and they pay for a sponsor. So they basically pay for somebody to
Which
get them...
goes up to anywhere from $3,000 to about $5,000 US.
Yes, from 3
that
to
shit ain't cheap in the first
45 or
place.
500. Yeah, 5,000, whatever.
They're paying money.
They're paying money.
Less.
They're paying money to hopefully land a job to make more to support their family, and they're promised this amount of money, which is already less than what they've paid into, depending on if they're leaning more towards that 5,000 mark. And they're getting worse living conditions. They're promised better living conditions, but the video that we saw, there's a lot of. If you have the time, just look up on YouTube.
Qatar controversy, World Cup controversy.
You will find there's so many videos of people going undercover and actually looking and seeing what it's like, and people taking videos of what people actually.
I'm trying to remember that one guy, that guy who was in the office and he was like recording down in his like waistline, so he couldn't be seen recording. I can't remember what was said in the conversation. It was fucked.
And they were talking about how they would promise you one contract, you would sign the contract at the sponsor in your home country. You'd fly to the country that you're contracted to work at. They would take your passport, so you could not leave even if you wanted. And then they present you with another contract and say, "Oh, actually, we're only going to pay you 700 rubles, which is an equivalent of."
I think it comes down to like 150.
I
think it's a little bit more than that.
Something around that, and they say, "Yep, here's your living conditions, which are deplorable and completely unlivable."
Apparently, they pay for their food or give them food money outside of that. I don't believe it though. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna even lie. I don't believe it for a fucking second.
I can only imagine what that allowance would be like, or how much they would actually be getting from that.
$5 for food.
But it's
a day. Or, I'm sorry, a month.
Sounds rough.
Yeah, dude, it's pretty shit, man. I really fucking hate. I hate human rights shit like that. Like, it's just like yeah, congrats, you have money. What makes you feel like you have the right, or it's any bit fine to do this kind of shit? To just, human beings are already in a terrible situation, especially compared to fucking anybody living in Qatar. That's the part of greed that just pisses me off to no end, because you lose sight of human morals. You don't care as long as you're making your money still. And I'm a man who likes to make my money. Don't get in the fucking way of making my money. But am I going to completely ruin a human being's life over it? Never, bro. Never.
What's going on here?
It's terrible. It's offsides. For me, what it comes down to is just a complete lack of any self-awareness for, essentially, for lack of better words, putting yourself into someone else's shoes.
Well, not only that, but we saw in examples on this video. I forget who the guy that we were watching is.
Maxwell. Shout out Maxwell. You do a great job, mate.
So he has this whole video, and in this video they have interviews. So they had like top news media outlets. We'll talk specifically U.S. I'm sure there were others from around the country, but we're going to focus on the U.S. ones. CNN, Fox, all of them, and they don't even bat an eye. Like, it's so blatantly obvious. And even their answers to the questions, I mean, they would ask one little question, they wouldn't even ask, how do you explain the deaths?
For all we know, the fucking U.S. news source could be getting bought out to not talk about this shit. I don't put it out of the realm of possibility.
I think a lot of people, U.S. based, don't have an understanding of the behind the scenes of soccer. And the problem is that the people that they send, the reporters that they send, don't know what questions to ask. They're completely ignorant to the situation at hand. So they don't ask the right questions, and they don't press
even if they do, even if they ask the right questions, these people they're asking the question to, they'll give a complete lying bullshit answer, and they're like, okay. For instance, Gary Neville.
Dude, that one was bad.
It was really bad.
That was bad.
In one specific part, the guy literally says, well, there's only been 3 work-related deaths. And Gary Neville is like, well, we can't prove 3, but we surely can't prove 6,500. So what? The fuck you saying, Gary? The fuck are you saying, Gary?
I mean, yeah, he works for people.
No, I get it. He's got his hands tied to a certain point. I'm not blaming Gary in specific. I'm blaming the people he works for. But yes, Gary, you're the face of it. So yes, I have to blame you to a certain extent.
I understand.
You're a human being. You can say no. Don't take the money.
Well,
you have plenty of it.
I don't know if it was necessarily him saying no. I just don't. He was oblivious and ignorant to the situation at hand.
At that point I blame Gary Neville for not doing his research before going into that.
I really think.
Of course he knows.
The way
That's how I feel about it.
Of course he knows.
That's how I feel.
Well,
I think Gary Neville knew.
Especially someone in his position, yeah, he knows.
He's a footballer, bro. You think he's
knows
not
what's
keeping up with
going
the
on.
football world?
No, I don't think he knows. I'll be dead ass honest with you. I don't think any of the players really have a full grasp of it because it's been kept under wraps.
You really got to do your own. You got to do some digging for it. It's
You
pretty
have to do
shitty
digging.
too.
The information is out there. That's the crazy thing. The information is out there, but it's not.
Oh, I wanted to
nice.
make it a goal.
But it's not. You are smacking this, man. It's not common knowledge. Nice.
Let's go.
This isn't common knowledge, and it's not easy to find. Like you have to do loads and loads of research and a lot of Google searches to even find one document that.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I had no idea what you guys were talking about.
See,
Yeah, bro.
exactly.
No, it's
Nobody
like
does.
I literally just stumbled upon one video about it, and I was like, hang on. Looked up a couple of articles, and I mean, a couple of them were a little sketchy, but I mean, from the fact that I read about 7-8 different articles that all have the same exact fucking information, so did all these videos, and I mean, these guys could be getting their information from the same place I am. Do I believe most of what I have read and watched? Absolutely. Absolutely.
And that's part of the problem is that it's not being covered by any like reliable news
Yeah.
sources. So the
Well, I mean,
credibility
we're
for
gonna
some of
see-
the stuff that you see is not there. And
Oh,
I think
you
that's
know,
what it is.
we definitely skipped one little topic before hopping into the deep abyss of worker fucking living situations and deaths, and that is Qatar's stance on not only
Oh yeah.
homosexuals, but I mean
Same-sex
premarital
marriage.
sex. It's not even just
But,
not even the same sex marriage. It's same sex like relationships, anything. And that and also premarital sex. They're out here telling people don't have sex at the World Cup. Let's be real. We have a giant tourist event. If you would have scored that.
To be fair, that was the previous president of FIFA who was
No, that was the president
recently.
of Qatar.
Well, no, but the recent president of FIFA was the one that said don't have sex at the
Oh,
World
did he?
Cup.
I
Yeah.
thought that was the president of Qatar.
No.
I guess I was a bit off on that one. Still, it's the fact that that's even an issue. In my opinion, and this is obviously just nothing more than my opinion, if you want to be even considered for the World Cup and hosting it,
He's gone. Duh.
you have to be a very open-minded country. You can't have limitations on shit like that. You can't be like, well, these people can't live their life normally. Like, I hate that kind of shit. It's just, in my opinion, the whole fact that Qatar even is hosting the World Cup is because FIFA is a bunch of dirty, greedy fucks. We all knew that already. We all knew they're a bunch of dirty, greedy fucks. That's not a surprise to anybody.
However,
It's the fact that they are hosting the World Cup. That's surprising to me.
don't let all this information impact your desire to watch it. I mean,
Oh, absolutely. Definitely watch the World Cup.
it's
Fuck with
not.
you.
Yeah,
I'm boycotting the
it's-
World Cup. I get that
Boy
once every
says I'm
4
not boycotting.
I get it once every 4
anything.
years. I'm boycotting Qatar. Just not World Cup.
Just-
How are we
be-
boycotting? Okay, so how can we boycott Qatar?
No,
not
you
going
don't.
to Qatar ever.
No, you don't. You don't. There's literally nothing you can do. One little video like this, 3 different opinions. like
it's
this.
sad. No,
Literally,
there's nothing we're gonna do
there's
about it.
nothing you can do about it except just be aware. Just don't be ignorant.
Yeah, just don't be ignorant to it.
That's it. That's all you can do at this point. Is just be aware of the situation.
No, but fuck Qatar.
Don't live your life in ignorance.
Fuck Qatar.
Do your research and formulate your own opinion.